himself.
I think so. Just going to double check that I can hear both mics. Yes.
Hello.
Oh.
I'm going to say something really exciting now.
Oh. It was the mic.
I'm in love with you.
The Ginterviews.
How's this gin working for you?
Well, I'm sinking it.
Isn't it very, it's very easy to drink?
It says it's slow gin, but it's more like fast gin, am I right?
That's why they pay you the big bucks. Here she is.
I'm hoping I'll just think of things.
Yeah, I think that's the way it normally works with these things. I haven't really prepped that much in terms of, questions or... I've obviously, thought a little bit about it, but I feel like it's more of an informal kind of podcast. You just sit and chat. It's like being at the pub listening to two people having a chat.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing, though?
I'm always listening to other people's conversations.
What was it? I heard a woman walk past me at the bus stop. She was maybe in her mid-50s, and she said something like, the ball's in my net now. It's in my net, and I'm not fucking giving it back. And I was like, whoa, what's happening over there? And then she went, cool, it's in my court, because she knew she got it wrong and that people could hear her. But
I was on a bus once and the person was like, I'm in the bus, and I was like laughing to myself like, oh, they've said it wrong. They said they're in the bus, and then I realised actually they're right, they are in the bus.
We're all in the bus, not on the bus.
Yeah, why do we say on the bus?
I wonder, does it come from the old days where they used to have those open top ones with the horses that pulled them?
Must have been.
Maybe that would be, you would be on that bus. Because you probably would have had to hold on quite tight. There's no roof, no nothing.
I just think we need to start making sure everyone says I'm in the bus. Otherwise, people think you climb on the top of the bus and it's very dangerous and anything can happen.
Bring back in the bus.
Yes.
Maybe she was a time traveller.
Yeah, that's how she gave it away. I'm in the bus. I mean on.
I get a bit paranoid. I get really paranoid that, the gold is happening and nothing's capturing it. It feels quite stressful.
That happened to Gráinne Maguire. It was had an audience for a live record of a podcast.
Oh my God.
And two really good guests and, packed crowd. And then at the end she took her, I don't know the technical thing, the recording stuff home, and it was completely blank, and she just hadn't.
Shit.
I think she'd filmed it, but without any of the sound or something. But there was no sound.
Oh God.
And it was a podcast, so you're.
But at least she had an audience. At least she had an audience there, so some people experienced it.
True. And then she just had to record it again, but just in her house with me, and I can't remember who the other guest was, but it was just a pared down version.
You're not a just.
Yeah.
Don't just yourself.
I was a just.
How dare you do that to you?
But that turned out to be the best episode she ever did.
Well, exactly.
In my
mind. There we go. This wonderful voice you've been listening to for possibly the last 5 or 6 minutes is Hannah Warman.
Hello.
Stand-up comedian extraordinaire, and also a writer, and also the woman who got stuck in an Uber that took her on a tour of London about a year ago, 2 years ago.
Oh, it was longer ago than that.
I remember seeing that on Twitter.
Yeah.
But yes, and here she is gracing me with her presence.
Aww.
Not a just at all, but, the most excited I've been about having a guest.
Yeah, right.
It's true.
Thank you.
I find it hard to carry, the really big things, the boom mic holder things. So then I bought these little guys, but it means that, for every kind of pod I've done,
You have to do that.
It's a dick sucking position, let's be honest.
I wouldn't know anything about
Let's be honest. Got to both lean in.
Okay.
Like we're told to as feminists,
You don't have to actually deep throat it.
No, not yet. Maybe
we only have a little bit of gin.
Speaking of gin, today's episode is sponsored by Beckett's Slow Gin. Have I already said that? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
No.
But I'm enjoying it.
Isn't it delightful? I've mixed it just with some tonic and some ice. And I'd never tried a slow gin before. I'd always seen them and thought, I really, really want to try that. So I'm very grateful to Neil Beckett, who owns the company and it's sponsoring several episodes, who's, given me the pleasure of delving into this liquid.
Does Neil make it himself?
He does. He signed the bottle.
Oh, wow.
The Ginterviews.
Generally, this thing is about kind of creativity and about drinking gin. And they're both fun things that I
Yes.
thought that you might like.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never drunk anything in my life. I love a drink, me. You and me have had some good nights together, haven't we?
We have, and I've heard all about your bar that you have in your house, which I still need to come and experience.
Well, it's not really a bar, it's a cupboard.
Okay, well, it's a special cupboard.
But yeah, I have a cupboard that must always be full, because I like the idea that if you came around, for example, and you were like, I want a specific kind of martini that has this flavoured gin in it, then I'd be like, I've got that. So that's
very Mad Men.
Yeah, I
approach.
really want to be like a mid-40s man with a cigar.
Love that.
That's my kind of thing that I'm going
It's
for.
very sexy.
Thank you. But yeah, the problem is when you've got loads of drinks in your house, that if you ever have people around you, there's no stopping point because you don't
Yeah.
run out. With normal people, they'd be like, oh, we've run out.
Yeah.
Let's just have a coffee now. Whereas with me, I was like, there's no running out.
What do you want to move? We've run out of rum, but we can move on to gin,
Yeah,
and then we can
and
go on
then
to tequila.
You can go on to these weird Christmas drinks that you've saved, chocolate flavoured wine. And
Oh, you're going to get some of this for your cupboard.
I think so, and
Some
it's a
slow
nice shape as well, because sometimes I get bottles of things that are too tall for my cupboard.
Yeah, it's quite squat and it's quite heavy. I feel like you could do something with the bottle as well when you're finished. Maybe
Yeah,
you could do
a
what they did. I was
candle.
going to say very 90s.
Yeah.
The 90s are back. We
Well,
could put
people
a
still do
candle in
that.
it.
Yeah, like in pizza places and stuff. But is this a 70 cl?
Yes, but it's not. Wait, hold on. Yes.
I don't know what
I
CL
don't
stands
know.
for, but whenever
centiliter, I want to say.
okay, 'cause
Doesn't
whenever I
have
buy
to-
alcohol, it's either a 71 or it's a whole litre, and the 71s fit in my cupboard, but the litre ones
Oh.
don't.
Yeah, this is 70 cl. Oh, and it's only 29% volume.
Not enough.
So is that low? Because normally, isn't it about 4? I think the last week I drank a spirited one of these, and it was 40. I think it was 48%. So I think that this is milder.
Because it's sort of more sweet,
Yeah.
but it's much more drinkable.
Yes. And
which
I already
means
feel it.
becomes more alcoholic because you have twice as much.
Because you drink the whole bottle.
Yes. I'm into it. But yeah, that would definitely fit in my cupboard. Lovely.
Lovely.
Lovely. We can also dub that over with.
No, I love that. It's
Oh,
perfect.
okay,
That's
okay,
perfect.
cool,
It's the
cool,
vibe
cool.
we're going for. So, I was like, after the first couple of recordings, I was trying to work out what the vibe is, and I realised that there is a slight element of like chaos that comes along with either this or my stage stuff with my company. It just, I like the idea of imperfection. I'm embracing it. I feel like saying lovely Lily is just perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've been reading all about the shadow self. Have you heard about that?
No, what's a shadow self? That sounds like it's from the Upside Down.
Yeah. It's like it's this guy called Jung who,
Carl.
yeah, that guy.
I know him.
Way back when, Carl. He said that we all have like a shadow self, that we put parts that we hide from the world. The things that we don't like about ourselves and others generally are in our shadow. So he advises exploring your shadow and bringing it out into the world, because he thinks that that's the best way to move forward.
Oh.
So I think part of me being imperfect and messy on the podcast and a bit drunk, I think that's embracing the shadow me.
Yeah, I think that's true, actually. And I think a lot of us in performing, you learn to become more, I guess, of your shadow self, because you realise that's what makes you distinct from everything else and everyone
Yeah.
else. It's like especially with comedy, I think you need to like really find your voice and what is your, otherwise you're just another person
Mm-hmm.
saying puns or something. You want to be, you want to be idiosyncratic and be yourself. And I feel like that's something you work on forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, and also I feel like as a woman, maybe you're not given permission at a young age to discover who you are in the same way, because you've got to fit into this mould of being like all these other women. I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like men are given more permission to just embrace who they are.
Definitely.
At a young age, whereas you
Yeah.
definitely have to conform up until a certain point as a woman, and then it takes a bit of confidence or self-knowledge to just step to one side and go, actually, I'm a mess over here in these ways, and actually that's okay too.
Yeah. I feel like there's so many layers of like pretending that you do, that it's hard to even know what is the real shadow self under it, because so much of it is, you've built up who you are over the years, and it's based on environment and who you are a little bit. But I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I don't even know, like, what would I wear if I hadn't been in a family that was a little bit traditional in terms of girls wear dresses and boys wear trousers and whatever. And I kind of think, in some kind of vacuum, what would be the outfit I would wear today? And I can't get there because I feel like I've got too many layers of pretending and fitting in that's I'm not quite able to get under it to find the truth yet.
That's interesting. Maybe you never will, but it's so weird questioning those types of things. I mean, in terms of getting dressed, my list of like what I'll wear is it clean? Is it somewhere I can access it? Like, that's basically it. Like, it's but I do feel that in certain situations you feel a pressure, and I guess when you go up to do, I think if I'm too busy, then it's fine, because I'll just be wearing like this. I'm just wearing this. Like, I didn't put this together. Because I was so busy coming here. Yeah, it's what I'm wearing. But I think you can overthink it, right? And have you had that with stand-up? Have you felt like, okay, I need to wear a certain outfit tonight?
Definitely. But I don't know whether it's because you're skinny. I don't know if that's an insult to you, because I think you're extremely beautiful. But I feel like if you're skinny, you can kind of wear a baggy thing and it looks quite cool. I feel like being someone who's curvy like me, if I wear a baggy thing, it's really unflattering. But then in comedy, you should be able to show your body as much as you want, really. But I felt like I didn't want to show my curves too much or wear anything too tight or low cut or anything like that, because I just felt like it felt like that's going to be distracting. But it shouldn't be. It should be, I should still be allowed to be the shape that I am and be proud of the shape I am, and then be talking about something.
Do you mean distracting, that people would just be blown away thinking you're so fucking sexy that they can't listen to the funny?
Yes, that's exactly what I meant.
I'm not taking it in because you're just so gorgeous.
Yeah. And they're all just like proposing, so they're just talking over my punchlines because they're proposing. No, what I mean is that even if you don't find that person attractive, just the way that we've been taught to look at women. So my eyes watering right now.
Oh.
But I have hay fever.
Oh, bless you.
But we've been taught to look at women's bodies all the time and judge women's bodies more than we have with men.
Yeah.
So a man, unless he's got something particularly weird sticking out, you'll kind of just not particularly look at his body. Maybe it'll just be a bloke on stage. But with a woman, you'd be like, oh, she's a little bit chubby, or she's got big boobs, or well. There's all these things that women have projected onto women. So it feels like you want to almost be in a cardboard box where no one can see your body, and you can just be ahead talking. But then
you should do that. I would watch that act.
But then that in itself is pretty distracting. This woman came on stage, which was in a box.
Yeah. I think that would be fucking brilliant. And maybe you don't even put your head out of the box, you just make like a little post flap.
Yeah, because otherwise, even your head is distracting. Everyone's going to be judging, like, have you done your eyebrows?
This is so good. This is like post-feminist. Like, don't judge me for what I look like.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do a Banksy and nobody knows who the comedian is in the box.
Or Sia. She
wears that big wig and stuff,
Maybe I wear a wig like I'm Cousin Itch that takes over the whole me.
Yeah.
And then
I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
That sounds
But I never reference it. I just act like it's a normal.
You just do a very normal routine.
Yeah.
It's like if people reference it, you think they're weird.
Yes.
But I mean, I hear what you're saying about women just being judged left and right. It's a weird one. Like, I guess guys don't really need to think about that at all.
I think.
Well,
obviously, there's a little bit of it, and especially like stuff to do with weight. Like if a guy's overweight, they will still have a lot of people judging them and stuff like that. But if you're kind of a generic guy without anything too obvious, then I just think everyone listens to your words. Whereas with a woman or someone with or if you're disabled, or if you've got something that isn't seen as the norm, or the default man, then everyone's sort of like not quite listening to your words and sort of taking in all this other stuff, and then your words has to be extra good and strong to get through that distraction.
Unless, I guess, can you tie the words into what they're thinking so that you get in their brain, like, I know you're all thinking this about my t-shirt, like, But then that's a lot of work for you to have to tailor an act because
Yeah,
of how they're thinking.
a lot of comedians do that though.
Yeah, they'll
like
say
I know
the
what you're
thing,
thinking,
yeah.
or they'll like make fun of what they're wearing, but then you're like, I always feel like, yeah, but you've chosen to wear that so that you can do that joke about what you're wearing. So it's just,
Yeah.
for me, that's kind of, I don't know. But yeah, I see why you have to undermine yourself. It's that thing of saying the insult to yourself before they say it. So calling yourself fat or calling yourself a woman, oh, what an insult, before they pick up on it.
Sneak in.
Yes, I know I'm a woman. Let's just get that out the way.
Spoiler alert. Would you like another drink?
I would actually.
Oh, good.
I feel naughty that I drank
In
it
the
so
right place.
fast.
No, I love that because normally it's me drinking it too fast.
It's because it's very drinkable.
You're just selling this brand.
I know.
And it's not fake either. Like, you know, this is very drinkable for real. Just get some ice out of here.
And maybe
Melting.
Mr. Neil Beckett
Yeah.
will send me some gin.
He should. If Neil is listening, knock twice if you're listening, Neil.
I just feel nervous for the whole day, maybe even the whole week before a show.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, this is not worth it for the 20 minutes or whatever it is that I'm actually doing a show.
Oh, it's a humble brag there that you were on the 20s. The 20-minute headliner slot that I got.
The 3 hours at the Apollo that you're doing.
What would you like to be called?
Well, I guess a comedian.
A comedian, like just on its own.
Funny human.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess stand-up, I think, would be more like, I've written this show and I'm going to mostly verbatim say the show.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm trying to do stuff where I'm just literally making stuff up based on what's going on with the audience and what's gone on in my head that day.
I love that. What do you what's the difference in feeling between writing a type 5 or 10 or whatever and getting up in front of an audience and improvising? Like, why are you more attracted to the latter at the minute?
Well, I used to write all the time and I got massively anxious, like really panicky every time I had a gig and would feel really sick and horrible. And then I stopped doing it for a while. And then when I started to do improv, I realised I didn't get that feeling. And for some reason, the thing that would give me anxiety was the idea of going blank.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when I'm doing improv, there's no lines I've got to try and remember or even topics, really. I just, it's quite nice just relying on my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel, I don't have the anxiety. I think the thing that makes me anxious is, I used to always write down all the points on my hand, and I had it really specific, like, I need to pause before I say the punchline there, and I need to say this word really quickly because otherwise the rhythm's wrong to put across this thing. And it was like so prescribed and choreographed. And I think it was so much I had to kind of make sure I got right that it was putting so much pressure on me. So now I'm kind of like, I'm just going to go up there with nothing.
Yeah.
And it's so much less scary.
It's funny because some people would find that way more terrifying. Because they've got nothing. You've got no safety net. You're just you, and you're trusting your instincts and yourself.
Yeah.
Which is lovely and amazing and empowering.
I definitely used to think that, because I think I got to the point of, like I say, I was just like saying every word in the exact same place because I knew that gave maximum laugh from the audience or whatever. And I think I felt so scared to go off of that if someone did interrupt or someone dropped a glass or something, it would really throw me, because then I'd be like, oh, where was I in my really specific musical kind of way of saying this sentence? Whereas now I can just like make all of that part of what's going on, and it's just so much less nerve-wracking. But it means that there is a less of a hit rate because you are just making stuff up. But I also think the audience appreciate that you're making stuff up, and so they give you more because of that.
Side.
Yeah.
They're supportive.
Yeah.
How did you tell me about your first improv gig? Like when you got up for the first time to try that, had you done? Because you went from then a very structured performer, very methodical and like mathematical in your approach to the comedy. Like, this will be funnier if I leave half a beat here.
Yeah.
To like, hey, it's just me, I have nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's
Like-
because I started running a night so that I could put my musical improv thing on, but I also wanted to put other acts on. So because I was like having to introduce the other acts, I had to sort of do a bit of emceeing and warm up the crowd. So then that was where I was like, oh, people are laughing at the random shit I'm saying. So yeah, that was really nice when I first did that, because I sort of didn't give myself any pressure to do jokes. I just said to myself, oh, you know, try and make sure that they're in a good mood so you can bring on the act and they'll have a lovely time. But then I was actually saying some things that I'd thought of that day and getting laughs, and I was like, oh, this is nice.
And do you think you'll ever go back to stand up, or do you think you're so free that you just couldn't be caged again?
I can't be caged. I'm a free bird. Well, I've been booked for a few gigs that I probably have to have some jokes at. So I'm trying to see if there's a way of doing it where I can sort of half it. But I just want to avoid the anxiety that I had, so I might end up just just improvising and being silly. I feel like when I'm on form, I feel like I'm funnier anyway when I'm doing that than even when I'm saying stuff I've written that's taken ages to craft. I don't know why.
But it's so hard to do stand-up and to tell the same jokes over and over again and find the kind of improvised dialogue in how you're delivering it. Like, that is just... I think people don't realise when they watch good stand-up just how long that takes to learn.
Yeah.
It's such a fine art.
Yeah, but it's also really hard to still like your own material if you've said it so many times. And yeah, I think it's a certain kind of person who... I mean, I guess it's like being an actor. You're acting like you're being spontaneous. But I don't know why, but knowing I'm not really being spontaneous, I find it a bit icky.
Yeah, you feel like you're lying to the audience.
Yeah, especially like I've seen some really, great stand-ups who deserve to be popular, but they'll even do like a mistake where they'll then do what seems like an ad lib about the mistake they've just made, and then I'll watch them again and they do the exact same thing to the second.
Yeah,
so people are just like,
definitely.
oh, they're just chatting off the top of their head, and
or,
they're
they're
just
making
so
that
funny.
up.
And it's like, well, no, because they, even that mistake they did and that little ad lib that they pretended, and this happens a lot where they'll pretend an audience said something and they didn't even say it, but everyone just assumes they did.
Because
they'll be like,
I didn't
oh,
hear
what are
it.
you saying, mate? That I'm blah blah blah, and then they'll have a really good comeback to the thing that the audience
fake
didn't even
heckle.
say. Yeah. So it's like
Oh my God.
that's the magic trick, is making everyone think that this is just off the top of your head and made up, and actually it's all like been choreographed, and that's in that way it's very similar to magic, I think.
But you feel that you just can't lie to an audience. I love that. As in, not you can't, but that you'd prefer not to. You'd prefer to just be with them in a moment.
I just feel like it's so much more fun.
Yes, I agree.
I think I got really bored of my material.
Right, okay.
Just because if you're saying the same material over and over again, it's so boring. I don't know how people can tour the same thing. Well, some people on the circuit are doing the same 20 minutes at the Comedy Store that they did 20 years ago.
Oh, like people like Jerry Seinfeld who do the same jokes that they've got jokes that they literally did in the 70s.
Yeah.
Because it's like it works and it's perfect, so why change it?
Yeah, and I think that's still amazing, and I think I went to see him when he did the O2 several years ago, and it was a masterclass in stand-up comedy, but it's hard to know how you'd still be delighted in your own. I guess he knows he found the best joke on that topic, so he still wants to tell it. It's like if you wrote a song years ago, you still would want to sing that song.
People are going there like, we want the Pop-Tarts joke.
Yeah.
Like, where is it? Like that. I think that's how they approach him. But the way you were saying your stand-up sounds like his approach, in that so meticulous, so like driven by the beats and the rhythm of the piece. Like, I've heard him talk about comedy and it sounds similar. I mean, I guess a lot of comedians do that, but like
Yeah.
I maybe haven't heard as many comedians talk about it.
Yeah, because again, it's like the magic circle. This is the comedian circle. You're not really supposed to tell people
Oh,
that
that's
it's
so juicy.
that it's actually all pre-written and nothing's spontaneous. But if you go and see improv, it is actually spontaneous, and I just find that so much more fun.
The
Yeah.
fear of failure then like just doesn't exist for you, I presume, because you're like, well, if that bit doesn't work, I'll just find some other comedy.
I think for some reason I haven't yet had a terrible gig doing improv, but maybe I will, and then I'll never want to do it again. But it just feels like it's like I don't even have to use my brain. It's like I can rely on the adrenaline Hannah brain that's going to kick in when I'm on stage. And it's so nice. It's like I can just be like, I don't even have to worry about that gig because adrenaline Hannah brain will be really funny.
Hannah's got it.
And I don't know how she does it.
I don't know her secrets.
Honestly, I
It's
don't
like
know her
Severance.
secrets.
She's
Yeah.
just like, when you
Yeah,
go on stage,
I love Severance.
it's just a completely different.
Yeah.
You come off and you're like, cool, I'm glad you liked it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, like, it is like that. And
Hannah had it.
Yeah, I just like put all of the annoying hard work and stuff onto like this weird version of me that I don't know where it comes from.
I love that though. I think there is a trust in the adrenaline. I think some people feel scared about the nerves and the adrenaline. I feel you have to go through them, and
Yeah.
they definitely serve a performance.
Yeah.
The
It feels like the best. I feel like, and this is another thing. I don't know if you, because you've done a few different kinds of performing, but in the stand-up world, improv's really looked down upon.
Right, yeah. I was out with a bunch of
So
people
weird.
recently, and they did like a pecking order of comedy.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think
They also
improv-
hate musical comedy.
Oh yeah,
which
think
I also do.
that was- But in America, like they have, I feel they have more of an improv kind of culture than we do here.
Yeah, they
'cause
definitely
have
do,
like
yeah.
the Second City and the Upright Citizens Brigade. I've had a lot of gin. Upright.
Lovely. What was the thing I said
Citizens
earlier?
Brigade.
Lovely.
Lovely. But their stand-ups, their improvisers go into like SNL and go into
Exactly, yeah.
making
There's
amazing shows. They seem to have a platform, whereas here I feel there isn't as much of a
No.
platform, audience, or knowledge about improv.
Yeah, because it's like there's some really cool like actors in America who get all the films, and like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and all
my
these
hero.
people,
I fucking love
and
Tina
they've all
Fey.
come from improv.
Have you seen Tina Fey might be taking over on SNL?
No.
Because obviously,
What, instead of Lorne Michaels?
yeah, he's retiring. I mean, he's been there for 150 years. Like,
Yeah,
it's about
that's true.
time. And she might step up.
But that
to
seems like then will she not be performing as much because she'll
I
be...
hope she could do both,
Yeah.
like exec it and also go on camera. But she might not want to. She did that, didn't she? She did it well.
Yeah, she's amazing.
But yeah, there's so many actors who have started on there. Like, I mean, a billion. I'm not going to name them, but improvisers who just, and I feel like because of SNL, they have more, maybe, I want to say credibility. It's not how I feel about British improvisers, but there just doesn't seem to be a spot here for anyone yet.
No, and it's definitely not seen as cool for some reason. But it's starting to change a little bit, like people like Rachel Paris and
Yeah.
Ruth Bratt and stuff. They'll do like all those panel shows and radio things, and they're all from improv. But then I guess they also have done TV, and I guess that's the reason people would put them on things. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to change.
I think it should change because I think improvising is the coolest and sexiest form of comedy and the
You're
bravest.
trying to get me drunk.
Honestly, it's just so brave. Like it's in the literal. I hate when people say brave about things that aren't brave. Like when a woman doesn't wear makeup and they're like, "Wow, she's so brave.
Yeah.
She's so brave."
She's better than
wearing her own face. She's so brave. But no, I do feel like there is definitely bravery in getting up to do improv with no safety net. I just think it's amazing to just dive in and have fun with an audience.
We're back from our break.
We're back. Yeah, just cut all of that. I might keep it in. Who knows? So we were talking. How did you get into comedy in general? Like, can we go deep dive back, way back when? Little Hannah. When did she know she was funny?
Well, I've always loved comedy, and I think I was quite shy, and I didn't really think I could be a performer. And then I became a singer first.
Oh.
And when I would do like jazz and soul singing in like casinos and restaurants and things
In
like
my
that.
head, you're like 11. So how old were you when you were singing
I
in
was
casinos?
11. No, no, like early 20s.
Okay.
And yeah, and I just found myself getting more confident in front of an audience, and I can sing, so I sort of knew that was sort of okay. Like I knew I could deliver the songs that I was required to do. But then I would get more confident to be able to talk in between the songs. And then I just thought, I want to do more of the talking. So then I did stand-up for years and years where I didn't do any singing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did musical comedy, and now I'm doing improvised musical comedy.
Love
So
that.
it's all
Such a journey.
come round, yeah. But it's like, yeah, I feel like there's lots of noise outside. I hope that doesn't get picked up on your
The
thing.
music is coming through.
Yeah, the music just comes through my veins. But yeah, I think in stand-up, there's definitely, and I think I felt that kind of cynicism about musical comedy in the stand-up world, whereas like, so when I did stand-up, I felt very much like it had to be pure,
Mm-hmm.
and it had to have the craft of doing really good jokes, and I don't know, there was that kind of like snobbiness about it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, I'm old enough to never be cool at this point now. Like that time's gone.
I've been talking to so many, but it's not like, I feel like it's a female experience to get to maybe about 30 and realise I don't have to just be like a sexual object.
Yeah.
You know, like I can just be imperfect and myself.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
I
I
can
don't
be a
have to
silly
be cool.
clown.
Yes. And you can embrace the clown.
And it's like, we are silly clowns.
We definitely are. But it's like, you're not really given permission to do that until you're a bit older, and then you realise.
Yeah,
like,
so I feel
I
like,
can do that.
so knowing that I don't have to be cool, or my
But it is
idea
cool,
of
but
cool.
it is cool. Like it's the
Yeah.
other cool. It's
Yeah.
the real authentic.
The real
cool.
coolness
Yeah.
is not caring about being cool.
Exactly.
But yeah, but not having that pressure of thinking what people think is cool when I'm there, blah blah
And
blah.
you end up in like, what do they want? And like, how can
Yeah.
I do just boxes and boxes of stuff.
Yeah, so I feel much freer now. I feel
Yeah.
much more like an artist.
Oh my god. I was going to ask who your ginspirations were.
I would say, well, one of my favourite British improvisers is Ruth Bratt, because she does showstopper and stuff, but whenever I see her do anything, she'll do short form improv as well. She just she's just so silly in herself, and I just could watch her read the Yellow Pages. So she's amazing. But then in terms of more world-renowned people, you know, like we were saying about Tina Fey and Amy Poehler and all those people. I nearly went to see Ben Schwartz, who played
I love Ben
Sonic.
Schwartz so much.
Yeah,
He's
I
done
bought-
so much more than Sonic. As
No,
well.
I know.
People don't know who he is. Like,
Yeah.
he's so.
He's amazing. So
Oh
he's
my
such an
God.
amazing improviser.
Have you seen him in what was the YouTube series he was in? Oh my god, what was it called? Jake and Amir.
No.
So
I
that's
should have
where he
seen
got
that.
his break.
Oh,
like,
right.
So he was in a YouTube comedy series called Jake and Amir, and it was just his pure, like, perfect
Yeah.
comedy, and utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, I did a completely stupid thing, and I bought my ticket to see Ben Schwartz, and I've been excited about it for months and months. And then I realised I'd also booked a few days away in the Isle of Wight because it was my friend's birthday,
Oh,
and it overlapped. But I did manage.
He's coming back next year, apparently.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
okay,
him
brilliant.
say it on Instagram. He was like, I love London so much. Because I don't know why he came here for one day.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I was really gutted when I missed it because I just
would
feel
love to
like,
have gone to
yeah.
see him.
But let's go to the next one.
Definitely. But I think they just worked at College Humour,
Okay.
and they started making these comedy videos because they were bored and they
Yeah.
wanted to put it on YouTube.
But that's the best way. That's one of the good things about social media and stuff, is that kind of anyone, whether there's nepotism or anything, can kind of just, if they're funny, they can just put stuff up. Everyone's got
Just
a
make
phone.
something, yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that, but I also can see how there's so much content, it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, I think now. I think back then, this was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah, there probably
so
wasn't
YouTube,
that
there was a lot, but there wasn't as much. Whereas now it's like there's a lot there. I couldn't
Yeah.
think of any other way to say that because I've had so much gin. But what I love about Ben Schwartz's comedy, his improv, is the long form stuff, which is on
Yeah.
Netflix as well.
Yeah.
Middleditch and Schwartz, which
Yeah,
is just
so good.
the wedding one just absolutely killed me. They have this whole fake wedding. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god.
When we've done our musical, we've sometimes just been three of us, so it's been where you've had to done at least 2 parts each. and that's the bit of that middle ditch and sports thing where you have to like jump.
Yeah.
And you're talking to yourself and
Love
whatever.
That. We
Yeah.
were playing every person at the party.
Yeah.
So
So
much fun.
I do really love that.
Where did you train in improv somewhere? How did you learn how to do it?
I did train with the Showstopper people. The Showstopper guys do courses, and they're really good. I recommend it to anyone who's into musical improv. But they're so amazing. And I probably was pretty shit when I first started, but I just kind of did all the courses available in that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's not that, like, they really are improvising everything, and that there isn't really any kind of pre-learned stuff, but it's sort of, there's just little kind of minor rules to sort of be aware of.
Can you tell us some? And also, can
Okay.
you explain to me how you could be shit?
I know, how could I be sure?
I'm making mental notes.
I think the being shit probably was not being able to be completely myself. So again, it's the clown thing.
Yeah.
It's like learning not to care how I look and just to go for it. So now when I do improv, I do usually do really silly, stupid, mad characters, whereas I probably, when I first started, was just kind of being a woman.
I am a generic woman.
I'm a generic woman with an American accent now.
And now I'm from up north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still do those generic women. But yeah, I think I'm more in touch with my inner that's not the right word. My inner crazy. Can you say that? Can't say anything anymore.
We're on my podcast now, baby. You can say what you want.
Well, I am
You're saying a crazy woman.
neurodiverse, so I'm just saying I'm getting in touch with my neurodiversity.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. We love a bit of that. I was talking about that an hour ago.
Exactly.
You're in a safe space.
And what was the other thing? Yeah, I guess so with the rules in general, you are massively just making stuff up, but one of the little things they say in improv is do, don't tell. So let's say the suggestion was that you're a barmaid, don't straight away be like, oh, being a barmaid is like this, so I'm always pulling pints. You should be pulling the pints and then have another idea. Because like, if you were a barmaid, you wouldn't always be talking about being a barmaid. You'd be talking about how your husband is being distant recently or whatever. So you've got your own sort of sub-story. Don't talk about what you're doing. Don't be like, and now I'm pulling a pint and I've got to clean this pub. Oh,
so
this
don't
pub.
tell the audience what you're doing.
Yeah, just you can still clean the pub whilst talking about your emotion about something completely different. Like we're drinking gin, we're not constantly talking about drinking gin.
We did talk about it twice.
but we're able to drink gin and talk at the same time, which is like amazing multitasking.
Oh my god, well done us.
Yeah. And then the other thing I'd say would be like to go with emotion rather than facts. So don't tell the story like, when this thing happened in 1979.
Because I feel like I could do that.
I mean, a bit of that can be really good to help fill in the gaps of what's going on in the story. But you should, like in acting, you need to think, oh, what's the motivation of this character? What's their attitude towards this person? And what's their general emotion now? And it's just remembering that. So it's just kind of certain things like that where they're not rules, but they're just helpful notes to have at the back of your head so that you don't just do the same thing. And then you also can take a break and just let yourself breathe in the scene without having to feel like, oh, I've got to sort of join the dots and explain what's going on.
Yeah, because you're letting the audience do the work.
Yeah.
Because an audience will as well. Like, you can literally, if an actor comes on stage and just sits there and looks at the audience and then says, well, that was a bit shit, and that's it for like 5 minutes, the audience will build a whole narrative around that. They'll know where you came from, where you're sat, what was shit. Like, there's a whole story that they make, which I think is magic.
Yeah.
That they will do so much work for you.
Yeah.
You just have to be there and be honest
We don't
with
have to
them.
do anything, babe.
Fuck all.
Did you just put more in my glass?
Yes, and I haven't topped
I was like, that's suddenly gone really strong.
Although it says in the thing that you can drink it neat.
Yeah, you can, but you can drink anything neat if you're...
Yeah, if you're desperate enough. Are there any other comedy inspirations that you have? Like, people that you love? Like, if you could meet any comedy hero, who would you hang out with? Or if you could be in an improv show with them, who would you play with, except for Ben Schwartz?
It
We've
would
all
be
said
that,
we love him.
but it
so.
would be all those American ones
I
where,
know.
like,
Can we think of any British ones? That
Um,
the American ones are amazing. I love
well,
them.
yeah, well, like Ruth Bratt is someone I love, and Pippa Evans. They're all people that are really good. Rachel Parris is lovely. Amy Hodgson, probably said her name wrong. There's loads of brilliant people, mostly women.
Oh, I like that. The list is very female. Hashtag Barbie. Barbie takeover.
Yeah, hashtag Barbie. Hi, Barbie. Yeah, there's loads of lovely people, and the nice thing about improv not being that popular is you can get those amazing people that are like on your dream list to guest on things with you all the time because there's not that much work for them. I'm on TikTok, but I think I've done one video and it was of a dog.
It's your home, really, as an improviser. It's exactly that vibe of like, not planned, not perfect, just a thought I've had that makes me laugh, so I'm going to put it on there. What song would you lip sync? We could do that.
I'd rather lip sync like Whitney Houston or something. Why is lip syncing so popular? No offense to the drag queens. I think drag queens make it very entertaining. But like the way that seems to be the main thing that young people,
You young people.
all the young people on TikTok seem to just do so much lip syncing. And I'm like, why don't they just sing with their own voice?
It's because you choose the track at the beginning of your video before you've recorded it.
Okay.
Should I show you?
Yeah, but why don't they just like create their own content?
So look, I'm going to show you TikTok. Should we do a video?
Okay, but what are we gonna do?
King Gin. Can we think of a song with Gin? Should we do Gin? Okay, right.
Oh my God. Is he telling me to English?
I have no idea what he
I
said.
feel like he's Spanish. Can't do it.
I'm surprised. The Victorians were super kinky.
But they couldn't be open about being
No,
gay,
it's like
could they?
surprising. It's like secret kink.
Do you ever watch
Some of this. Right.
yes, please, Gentleman Jack?
I love that show so much. I've watched all of it, and it's real.
Yeah.
As in, Anne Lister.
Yeah. She did
was-
diaries.
Yeah, she wrote real diaries and had like code words for every woman that she slept with and how it was and like what she did with her.
Yeah.
I found that fascinating.
Yeah, it is good. The only bad side of it is that she's a Tory. Did you notice that?
In the story.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they had to like admit that Anne Lister was like quite a
Yeah, she was,
rampant Tory.
she owned a lot of land and all that
Yeah,
kind of
but
stuff.
it's like I don't know. It's like oh, it's so progressive that she's gay and she just wants to love who she loves, but then she's also like massively like I don't care about these poor people.
I hate them. I might wrap up the pod here because there's
Okay.
going to be a lot for me to edit.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm so excited about it though.
I hope you can find something good in it. I
It's
feel
gonna
like
be
I
amazing.
didn't say anything funny. Oh,
You
good.
said so many funny things that were good.
Ah!
Are you serious?
I love you.
Oh my god. So we should do a cheers. Although my drink is... Oh wait, I'm going to fill my
You
drink
need to.
up.
Yeah, you just refilled
I
mine.
don't know why I didn't top my own drink up.
Yeah, you're such a martyr.
Such a gentleman.
Such a gentleman. And then I found out he was really a girl.
Yeah. Oh, that's better.
It's better.
Oh my god, I got Australian there.
That's
for a
my
second.
ordinary woman who's Australian.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye. Love you.
We love you very much. Cheers. And I love you very much.
Yeah, you're
the
lovely.
best.
You're bloody lovely.
Cheers.
Muy bueno. Adios.
Coach interviews.
We just got checked on by the staff because I once drank so much gin in this room that I had to be lifted down the stairs and put into a taxi.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Sorry, that's what the squeaking was. Everybody at home was like, "What was that squeak?"
It was the squeak to check that Kerry's not completely drunk.
So basically, now they check on me like every half an hour to an hour.